So there's this crazy story, and this is like years ago, part of El Salvador's history, is they had a gang that came out of nowhere called the Black Shadow Gang. And basically what this gang did was they would dress up in all black, drive around in black cars, black shades, black sunglasses, black masks, whatever it was, so no one knew who they were. And they would drive around, and anytime they saw anyone with a tattoo, gang-related clothing, apparel, or like do a gang sign, or you know, just be doing things gang-related, they wouldn't ask any questions and they would just shoot them. They would drive around with shotguns and guns and stuff and do that. And they swept through the country. So they kind of like moved through the country and did that with everyone they could find. And gang violence was almost non-existent for like 10 years after that. To this day, no one really knows who it was. But like the major speculation is that it was the police, like the government, the police officers who just kind of went vigilante and took the law into their own hands and were sick of like having gang members like kill their family members and, you know, put ransoms and rent on them, because the gangs would do that. They would come up to like random families, and this happened with people all the time, and they would make them pay sums of money so they wouldn't kill them, and they called it renta, so they ponerles renta, and it was crazy. And so this gang comes through and did that, and kind of it cleaned up gang violence for a long time, for like 10 years. But then it came back, and when I was there were rumors that the Black Shadow Gang was like going to come back. So, I mean, it's a crazy place. El Salvador is a very interesting place and has a lot of interesting culture. I mean, you'll be going in the buses, which by the way are super crazy. I mean, they're just like huge. And they're all painted. They've got the route number on them, but they're all like custom painted with graffiti, and they've got stickers all over the inside of them. And it's like, I mean, you're always trying to avert your eyes, because a bus was one of the only places where you would see pictures of Christ, Looney Tunes, sports teams, and pornography. And they just have like, I mean, these stickers were just like, oh, there's Barcelona, because they all cheer for Barcelona and Real Madrid down there. Those are the two teams. If you're one, then everyone hates you from the other team, and if you're the other team, everyone hates you from that team. And if you don't pick one, everyone hates you, because they're like, well, you need to pick one team. So it's just all Barcelona and Real Madrid. So when those two teams play, it gets nuts. People are fighting, and there's fireworks going off, and people are shooting guns. Like, it is crazy. But so the buses are nuts, and we would get robbed. Not often. I mean, I only got robbed like 3 times. A lot of times you'd be in the bus and you would see a guy just like coming back through the rows, and you're like, what is he doing? He was just going to people, and he either had a gun or a knife, and he was just kind of like holding them up and getting money from them. The people that ever robbed me were kind of like the street thugs that like were like the new recruits and didn't really like know the rules. In fact, I had a pretty surreal experience in one of my areas where like a gang leader invited us to dinner. We didn't know he was a gang leader. So we go over there and we're having dinner, and he goes, look, elders, like, not to like burst your bubble or anything, but like, I'm one of the main leaders of this gang, and it's a big no-no for missionaries to be teaching gangsters, because if the other gang sees, then they automatically associate you with that gang, and you're automatically a target. So we were like, okay, well, we're going to get out of here. And he's like, I know, but what I want you to know is that if anyone from my gang or an opposing gang or anyone in general gives you trouble, you let me know, and I'll take care of it, or I want you to let me know. And we were like, yeah, we're probably never going to let you know, because you'll kill someone if we like let you know. That's code word for I'll take care of it, right? And so it's a really, really interesting dynamic. And there are other places that are like more dangerous than others. But for example, like in one of my areas, it was called Atikisaya. There was a highway that went right through the middle of it. The top part of my area, so above the highway, was all 18 territory, and below it was all MS-13. So the members from below couldn't go up above, and the members from above couldn't go down below unless it was mutual night or Sunday, and then they could. But otherwise, if they did, then they wouldn't. Then they would be in danger of being shot or killed or mugged or beaten up, because, you know, in those small towns down there, everyone knows who everyone is. So they would obviously recognize a kid from down below or a kid from above. While I was there, I think there were 30 people that were killed, like, by the gangs, and I was only there for like 4.5 months. And so it was not uncommon for us to be sitting in a lesson at night and hear all of a sudden gunshots, and hear a car speed off, or hear someone on a motorcycle fly by and hear a couple gunshots, or just hear gunshots. I mean, you always had to be careful. Like, you always had to know where you were going, at what times of night, and even in the day. Like, if you went in a certain place during the day, you were in danger of being hurt. So you always had to be cautious, always had to be careful, always had to be conscious of where you were and what you were doing.